Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we'll be taking a look through a recent haul of vintage paperbacks that my friend Chris has sent over from the States. He's been buying these on my behalf, and the time has come to unbox the latest acquisitions. Predominantly it's for me, but there's a few bits for my friend Andy as well. Got some amazing stuff to have a look at, so really looking forward to that. Plus there's a few more recent pickups that I've done locally, so sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay then, so here is the parcel from the States, and we're going to get this one open first. I've been very much looking forward to this one arriving, I can tell you. It's not taken too long. About 10 days from the States was pretty good, really. Being quite careful here. As you can see, there's a few books inside. Wow. We've got a great unboxing today. Let us dig in. Look at that. And have a good look. Just get these out of the boxes, I think, initially. Chris did say that he's packed it pretty well. We've got a bit of everything in today. I'm not sure if the table's going to be big enough to hold it all. In fact, I don't think it is, so let me make a little bit more room. There's a bit of everything in here today. Oh, I can't wait to have a good look through. Certainly I've got some bargains. Some I've paid, I think, pretty much going rate, but just difficult to find the books in the UK, so had to resort to overseas eBay. We got a few comics at the bottom here as well. There we are, brilliant. So once again, thank you to my friend Chris for pulling all this stuff together. Endless emails, but I've been able to trawl eBay USA and save myself a whole heap on postage. These would have been impossible to get individually, so absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much, Chris. So what we'll do first of all then, we'll go through, we'll have a look at everything, and then we'll give everything a bit of a clean. So this was for my friend Andy, so we'll leave that. Andy, as you know, does regular trading card, bubblegum card videos, and we've been looking at his recent memorabilia. Sergeant Bilko was one of the recent ones. He's a big Outer Limits fan, and Andy will be very pleased to have that, I'm sure. I've also been watching an awful lot of a channel called Vintage SF. Now, that's Richard over in Canada, and Richard's been heavily collecting the Ace Science Fiction specials. So I've got a few of these already, and I picked up a few recently with my friend Steve, the Outlaw Books at Morris's at Zardos Books, and I've got a few more that have come my way. So I will unbag these as we go along. Some of them, like that one, isn't actually part of the main Vintage SF series. It's one of the ones that was like commissioned before Terry Carr left Ace. I've got some additions to my Philip Jose Farmer collection, so I'm trying to collect all the Jose Farmers in paperback first edition, but I prefer the American covers. And when you look at something like that Boris one there, how astonishing is that? I mean, these were the covers that when I was young, you know, I would go to where I'm in Plymouth, and there was a shop called Bonus Books, and they did imports, and they would have quite a good selection of science fiction and fantasy. And I remember just at the time I was buying Doctor Who books, but I do remember absolutely spending hours longingly looking at the fantastic sort of science fiction and fantasy books that they had on display for sale, and those were just the sort of things that, like, what is going on there? But they always just seemed a little bit too old for me at the time. Now this one, I have already got this one, but it's for my friend Andy, so I shall just leave that bagged up for him, because he's actually coming around tomorrow as we film this. This is all right. This is a nice early Valentine. Now, I am a fan of Ballantine books, particularly the early ones, and particularly their science fiction. So, but once again, although most of them do seem to have been sold in the UK, when you see them in the UK, they're usually quite expensive. And I'm not looking for perfection condition-wise. This is a really early one, number 25. I just would like to, some of them, they just seem to be unobtainable. So, what was this? 1950, 1953. Look at that. That's great, isn't it? I've also been able to get a few Harry Harrisons to my collection as well. So once again, I mainly prefer the American editions, and this is one of the ones in the Stainless Steel Rat series. The Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World. That one's in is it Berkeley? In fact, yeah, Berkeley, that one. This is good as well. So I got a few of these last time from Chris, and I was able to pick up one today, which is the Avengers, number 6, book 6. These are proven quite tough to find, but I absolutely love the American editions. I like the British ones as well, but the American ones just are more appealing to me. Here's an Ace Science Fiction. Now, these Ace Science Fiction specials, I'm being quite picky with my condition because they're just beautiful books to collect, and I love the cover artwork as well. Yeah, Leo and Diane Dillon did a lot of the early jackets for these, and I think they're just superb. This isn't one of their best, but it is a good one. So I'm trying, if possible, to pick them up in as good a condition as I can find them. It's going to mean that a few of them are going to be a tough finds to get, but you know, it is what it is. An odd early door book that I haven't got. This is the book of Philip K. Dick. It always goes for good money. This one's got a tiny corner out there, but I think it's a first. Oh, it's actually the 10th, that one. Doesn't matter. I'm not overly worried about having all the door books that I collect in first edition, as long as it's got the original jacket, which that one has got. So it was one of the ones, I only need about 6 to complete the first 100 door books. So it's just nice to get one of those out the way. This is another one for my friend Andy. As I mentioned before, Andy collects Sergeant Bilko memorabilia. There's a little Bilko article in there, Phil Silvers, so we'll leave that for Andy. Here's actually another one for Andy, part of his Outer Limits collection. I believe this is Supremely Scarce, the Outer Limits official companion. Quite a big book, also Ace Science Fiction. No idea how old that one is, but once again, I'll leave that for Andy. And let's got a few more paperbacks. Here's something I was very, very pleased to get. This is it should be the paperback first for From Russia with Love. So this would have been the first time this title got put into paperback. So I've got all the British ones. They were by Pan, but the American ones are much, much harder to find and to put a run together. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a set of the American firsts. There we are, look, September 1958. So very pleased to get, that's the first American one that I've got off the list in ages. So I think I just need now maybe 3 to finish the set of American Ian Flemings, which would be brilliant. Another Harry Harrison here, Planet of the Damned. I read a couple when I was on holiday, and boy oh boy did I enjoy. They're quite short, these early ones, but I found a renewed love of Harry Harrison recently, and yeah, they're pretty good. It's not high literature, particularly these early ones. I've not read a lot of his tail end work, but these early ones here, they're straight and to the point, and I think that's why I love them so much. So there you go. This is the American First of Death World. I actually picked 3 of these up in a set. I've already got a copy of this, so this is going to be like a filler. It'll be a reading copy, but there was a lot which had the first 3 in, and I actually bought it for this one, which is the American First of Death World. The British First is in Penguin, which is a nice little Penguin edition, but came out quite a few years before in the States. Yeah, September 1960 by Bantam. So I bought the first, I think it was the first 3. They're a bit jumbled up now for $6, so it's $2 each. But as I said, I already had books 2 and 3. That was the one I wanted, so I'll use those as my reading copies. Now, I picked up a lot of I Spy books. Now, I Spy is one of those great little shows that you never see on TV anymore. probably because it's got Bill Cosby in, so he is sort of persona non grata. The books, apparently, they're by John Tiger, are amazing. They're really, really great. And I picked up a run, I think it's the full set of all 7, in superb condition, absolutely minters. I think there was the whole set for $20, all 7 books, which I thought was particularly good. Here's another one here, book 6. I think it was the whole lot, although they may not be all together as we unwrap them. I'll see if I've got any more. There's number 6 there. Here's number 5. Yeah, they really are quite something, aren't they, these? Kelly and Scott, winner of the Golden Globe. Yeah, Robert Culp as Kelly Robinson, and Emmy winner Bill Cosby as Alexander Scott. There you go. I honestly, I don't own I Spy in any format, but I know my friend George is a big fan, or at least was. That's number 3. It's tip-top condition. Really, really nice. There's number 2, and I have got number 1, but it's in the stack here somewhere, so we'll get to it eventually. Right, here's another Ace Science Fiction special. Clifford Simak, Why Call Them Back from Heaven? Beautiful condition, that one. What a beauty. See, a lot of these are available in the UK. They do turn up, the Ace Science Fiction specials, but generally not in the greatest of conditions. So we've got a couple of bigger items as well. Now, I got one of these last time off Chris, and the last time Chris sent a parcel over, I should say, and I'm delighted to get another one. So these are, it's another one of the Charlie Brown TV specials. So you might be aware that they did a huge batch of these. They started with the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, and they did a whole batch of them, and Random House published them in these really nice board hardbacks. This is one of the earlier ones. I've got 2. I had one as a kid and I absolutely loved it, and I don't know how many were made. I think at least 8. I'd like to get one each time I can find one. Oh, that's a card there. I'd like to get one each time we get a parcel over from the States, and these are really good. They were issued in paperback as well, but they are pretty much scene for scene from the cartoon series. I was just looking for a date on this one. It's just not, 1976. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had this as a kid. Perhaps not the greatest one, but it's still nice to have. Here is also for Andy. I told you he collects the cards. This is an odd James Bond card there from Moonraker. Relaxation Bond style. Brilliant. I think that was an odd one that Andy might have needed. So that's cool. Now, you may also know, and we're going to have to get the old knife out here, I have been pulling together a run of DC 100-page super spectacular comics. Now, these came out in the 1970s, and I'm a big fan of them. And but some issues are just very, very difficult to find in nice condition in the UK. Either not many came over, or they're just generally hard to find, so thankfully in the States they're all readily available, as you would imagine. So I've got 2 here, and Chris has done a great job keeping these in nice condition. Now, I haven't actually got I didn't bring any miler bags down with me to rehouse these, so I'll have to do that on a separate video. I am intending to do a recap of all the original 100-page giants once I've licked the set, but I'm still a few off, but I'm trying to get at least one a month. I've got a couple bookmarked in the UK here, but it's like an odd Tarzan one, which I like the Tarzan books, but it's like £20, which is just too much for a Tarzan comic, although it is in particularly nice condition. So I don't know. Oh, look at this, look. So there's the Superman one, and look at this. I belong to the Merry Marvel Marching Society. Well, I wish I did. So I shall save this, because this is a little bit of Marvel memorabilia. Obviously, it's a modern one. I shall save that for my friend Gary, who is a huge Marvel fan, and we have done, in fact, Marvel videos, so he'll be very, very pleased with that one. And the actual 2 comics I got was Superboy number 185. So there we go. We've got the Splash 100-page Super Spectacular. That's a pretty nice copy of that one. It's not stamped, of course, and it's got a nice spine on it as well. This one here is Superman 252. Much harder to find. It's got, I'm sure it's a Neil Adams jacket on that one, and not too bad. It's got a crease on the spine, but it's not bad. There's a little bit of sticker residue there where stickers come off, but still, it is very, very tough, and I'm very pleased to have that one. That's a really tough one out the way, in actual fact. So, a couple more DC comics to the collection, so that's cool. Right then, let's crack on with a few more. So, this is the original Ace printing of June. Now, it's not $25. I think Chris has just put this in a bag for protection. I actually got this for $7. How amazing was that? And it is the first printing, which I've been after for absolutely ages, but I knew I had a bit of a repair, or a suspected repair job there. So, as you can see down the spine there, it's starting to come away. So it's probably already been re-glued by the look of it, you see down there. So what I'm going to do, and I won't be doing this today, I'm probably going to unpick that and see how we get on. I might possibly try and re-glue that one, but it should be the very first paperback printing of June. There we are. It is. It's the very first edition. Obviously, it came out in the UK as a 3-parter in analog when it was magazine format as June World. But this is the paperback jacket of it, and it's one I've been after for ages, absolutely ages. It's one that when the movie was riding high, it went out. It was going for mega money, that one. So yeah, a small repair job on it. I think with that one, I'm just going to need to sort of re-glue it so that it's nice and tight and the cover wraps around so it's straight again. But you can sort of see where it's coming away there. So I can do a little number on that one without too much trouble, I would think. Right, Ace Science Fiction. Here we are, Bob Shaw. This is another one on that sort of middling level. So these are ones which weren't, which were commissioned but weren't published as Ace, or they weren't done by the editor of these, which is Terry Carr. Now here's the first I Spy book. There we are. I think that's quite an iconic cover from what I recall. And once again, you get to see the lovely, beautiful condition there. Look at that. For a book with the black cover, which usually these are the most susceptible ones, that's really nice, isn't it? That is very, very nice. Now, I did buy one batch of books, and I pretty much bought it for one book, but there was a few in there that were of interest, which I thought, well, it's not going to hurt to have them, even if they're not in tip-top condition. One of those books was this one, so it's an Ace one again. It's a little anthology, best from fantasy and science fiction, number 13. But I didn't buy this, on its own or anything. It just came as part of a job lot. So there'll be a few books in there. But I said to my friend Chris, because there was about, I don't know, there must have been about 30 books in the lot. I said, don't send them all over because there's only extra weight for books that I don't really want. But a few of them I thought, well, I'll definitely at least take a look and keep them back as readers. Here's this one, another one in the Ace Science Fiction series. Different artwork on that one. So lovely to get these original ones. They just don't seem to be that common in the UK. Here's a Ballantine. That was, once again, it was in the same, it was just in a lot of books. So I thought, well, I'm not going to turn it down. So quite a funky cover as well. So that was cool. This is another one in the same lot, which was a Neutron Star by Larry Niven. Also a Ballantine. So, it's Ballantine SF. It can go in my, it's a bit, but it's much later than I usually collect, which are the 50s and early 60s ones in Ballantine. But still happy to have it. This was another one, which was in the same lot. I wasn't going to turn it down, but it's got a bit of wear on the front there. But once again, it'll be absolutely fine as a filler, a reader copy of that one. It's not too bad, actually. I just didn't want to leave them behind, really, so that's why they're in here. They weren't bought for any particular reason. I think I've got UK editions of these, of some of these anyway. That's not bad. See, although it's got the marks on the bottom, that's not too bad. It's a nice copy of that. So I'll definitely be keeping these in my Valentine SF collection, which I've got a shelf that's so full. That's another one. Don't know much about that one in particular. Right, now instead of a few Jose Farmers, here's another one here. This is an ace one. Behind the Walls of Terror. Another great one. Let's see, we had quite a load, didn't we? This is a Ace Science Fiction Special, one of the earlier ones there, where the cover art is sort of tucked away in that little box, which is such a shame, isn't it? But yeah, Richard at Vintage SF says he's going to be doing a little feature on the Leo and Diane Dillon. I think Diane is still around. Leo has sadly passed away, but wouldn't it be good? I wonder if it already exists. Is a book of their artwork. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Now, I think we've run out of space yet again, so let me just clear the decks. So this was the book that I bought this little lot from. So this was the first paperback. In fact, I think it's the world first printing of The Left Hand of Darkness, which of course went on to be such a influential and key book. And copies over here tend to be £100 to £150. In fact, there's an absolutely mint one at Adiman Books in Hay-on-Wye, but he's got 250 on. So I thought that was very nice. It's got a nice spine on it, a little bit of wear down the bottom on the corners, but generally that's as good as I'm going to get for what is an absolutely key book. And this was in a lot of books, which is in about a lot of 25 books, of which Chris has sent over the first. Chris sent over about 8 that I thought were any good out of it, but the main book I wanted was that one there, so I'm super pleased to get that one. This one was in the same lot. The second was all science fiction, so the second Avon Fantasy, which is actually a really quite funky looking book, that one. So, one of the best. Is it late 60s? Yeah, 69. First Avon Prince. It's an anthology, and I do love my SF anthologies, although that's a fantasy one. Here's another one from the Ace Science Fiction Specials, but it's the second series one, which is Marion Zimmer Bradley, Endless Voyage, which is cool. It's cool. You see, you know, most of these are around in the UK, and you can find them, but they're just not in great shape, you know. Oh, look, an X-Files trading card bookmark. You just couldn't make it up, could you? This is lovely. This is a beautiful cover to this one. Yeah, another one in that series. Look at that. Ron Goulhart. Very, very nice indeed. All right, another Jose Farmer. Private Cosmos. So these are all American first. Of course, he was so prolific, wasn't he? So there's an awful lot to get. 1968. But I'm not doing bad. I'm well over halfway for having all the Jose Farmers. And here is another one. Tongues of the Moon. This is a pyramid. Look at that. It's even earlier. This is like early 60s, I think, this one. 64. So not quite as early as I thought, but that'll do. Was a little the worse for wear. I think this was one of the ones that was in that job lot, A Trace of Dreams, so I've got it as a filler basically, but that was one of the ones that was in that big job lot. Now I'm pleased to get this. Ironically, this is the book I'm reading at the moment. I've just got the last sort of part of it to read now, and it's a Pavane by Keith Roberts, and quite tough to find in this Ace edition here, so hopefully this will clean up quite nicely. Got a nice spine, you know, I'll be pleased with that. Yeah, it's the writing on it is just incredible. It really, really is. And well, I recommend anyone to give this one a go, you know, if you want something that'll blow your socks off, because it certainly blew mine off. Stainless steel wrap wants you. This is a Bantam. I think this is one of the ones, that was the third one in that little lot there, I believe, that I bought. There's like 3 together. Here's this one I bought separately. That's stainless steel wrap for President. Much later now, but the character came back, of course. Now, really pleased to get this. I now only need, I think I only need 1 of the American ones. If not, yeah, I can't remember if I needed 1 or 2 American and about 2 British, but anyway, really pleased to get this. It's another Danger Man Secret Agent paperback, American one that I really love, so super cool. Now another earlier Ace Science Fiction special, Torrent of Faces, James Blish. It's one of the early ones with the little box there, so that's brilliant. Once again, I need to make a bit more room. This is one of the scarcer Jose Farmers. I think there's 3 that were published like this from Regency. Yeah, Fire and Night. Quite nice, that. Pretty nice copy. In fact, a beautiful copy of it. There we are. April 1962. Very pleased with that one. That one did cost me about a tenner, but it was money well spent. Try finding that in the UK for that sort of money. Another Ace Science Fiction special here. Phoenix and the Mirror. Here is another one. Humanity Prime. Very nice. Steel Crocodile. Yeah, these are on the whole excellent copies. I'm really pleased with them. Looks like I bought fairly wisely on the whole. It's another early one there. Rite of Passage. Yeah, just needs a light little polish on the front there. That'll be fine. Now this one I've actually already got, but I don't think mine's as good as this. This is a second foundation. It's an Avon. It's slightly shorter than the regular books. And I have actually got this exact edition, but it's not in quite as nice condition as this. Not sure if this is first. Copyright 1953, I think it is. Yeah, so I will have a spare of that little fella. It's a really nice edition of that. This is one that I don't remember if I bought him new or not, but I just love the cover. It's a Lion original. What a jacket that is, isn't it? It's got a bit of creasing on the back, but it's quite scarce. Yeah, 1954. Lion books just do not survive, you know. And they've got some incredible crime titles in there. A. Van Vogt. This was just an odd Ace one there. World of Nallet. I think it came as like a pair. I think it may have even been with this one, which is the Fritz Lieber, the Big Time. Didn't pick up any Ace doubles this time around. I have got a fair few in my collection, and I have actually recently bought one, but that'll be in the next video, so look out for that. I was pleased to get this. This is door book number 13. The horror ones are really tough to find, and they're really expensive as well. It's a bit like the Pan book of horror stories over here. So this one is a first, 1971. So that's cool. There's the stories in there. Yeah, they're really tough. That's another one off the first 100, so almost there on those. This must have been the last of the I Spies that we were missing, which was number 4 there. I said they're all beautiful condition. I did very well. It's worth pointing out I've been trying to track down the American Kojak books, believe it or not. I think there's 8, might even be 10, but there's quite a few. And there's another Ace Science Fiction special. Not too bad, that one. And I found a little lot of 6 Kojak books, American ones, and one of them, believe it or not, was signed by Telly Savalas, and I bookmarked it. It was I think it was $50 for the lot, and the books were mint. As I said, one was signed, or best offer, and I went back to pull the trigger. I was thinking about it for a day, so went back to pull the trigger, and someone had bought it, so I dipped out there. But how cool would that have been to get some Kojak books with one signed by Telly Savalas? Anyway, that's all the American books, and I have got a small pile of other paperbacks that have come my way as well that I bought right here in the UK, so let's get them now. So first is this one, which is the 39 Steps. Now, this is the second Pan edition of it, I believe. Yeah, this is the first reprint. So this is 2 years after Pan first published it. It's got a completely different jacket. And someone on the channel contacted me because they were looking for this particular one. I think they're big John Buchan fans. And, well, one's turned up. I grabbed it myself when I saw it, and it was not cheap. But, you know, if he contacts me, maybe we can come to a deal on it. But for the time being, I'm just going to keep that myself because it's a nice one to have. My son's girlfriend, knowing my love of paperbacks and that she knows I collect the Doctor Who books, picked these up at a school jumble sale or something like that. 20p each she paid for them. They've all got this little barcode. I think they're ex-school library, but I don't think they've ever been read. Yeah, they've got this little like school barcode in, and I think I'm just going to leave it in. But she did well. I said to Sam, she's a keeper. And these are the Virgin re-released copies. She brought me 3 of them, none of which I've got. So I've got a handful of the Virgin reprints, but I didn't have any of these. They all got new jackets on. So I was really pleased with that. So I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Another odd Ace books. As I said, I found a few in the States. They haven't all come from, a few in the UK, rather. They haven't all come from the States with Chris. So ones that I didn't have already come in. I've been looking for odd ones over here in the UK, and I did get a few. Pleased with this one, this Michael Moorcock. It was like, you know, including postage, about £6. I didn't mind paying that for that one. And this one was even cheaper. I think this is about £4 including postage, so they're definitely not expensive to collect. And these two came actually from a book dealer. They weren't from eBay, and I was incredibly disappointed. So I'm not going to name names, but I did give them a shout back and say, look, I was really disappointed with this one because it was. They show the front cover and it looks fine, and you know it didn't really highlight how the bottom of the spine had been worn, and this one was far worse than I was expecting. Look at that. So they did give me a refund, and you know they didn't want the books back. They just said give them to charity or whatever. So I will do that, but I will give them a clean first of all. But yeah, a bit of a shame, but there you go. So those are both still on the wants list as ones that I would like to get. Now I finally picked up this, which is the official price guide to paperbacks. This is the first edition. I don't know if they ever did a second. It's a huge old tome, and I've picked it up because these are not expensive. They're about, if you're patient, you can get them for about £5. This one has unfortunately been annotated and used by a collector at some point, but I bought it for like the lists. So for example, the Ace D series, which is the doubles, you have got the whole list of all of these. Now, a lot of this information I know is absolutely accessible online now, and the prices, you can disregard them. It might give you an idea of which ones are maybe super valuable, but this is so out of date, it doesn't reflect the current market. But what it does do, what it acts as is a great bibliography of what was actually released, sorted by publisher. So Ace, for example, is quite a tricky one to collect. A bit like Pan, their different number prefixes denote the difference in price. So, you know, it's not an exacting science, but that's how they did it. So you may just want all the science fiction ones. You may want all the ones that were issued as a double. Who knows? But, you know, it's a nice little book. It's a huge book, and probably worth you tracking down a copy. There's plenty online. As I said, I got this from eBay UK, and it cost me, I think, about £5. So you might want to track one of them down as a reference. This one cost me 99p, and I was over the moon with it. So it's actually a desk calendar for, I think, the 90s, was it, or even the 80s. I can't remember, but you may recognise the name, which is Piet Schroeder's. So Piet Schroeder's wrote the book of paperbacks, which was an early 80s book. It got reprinted as Paperbacks USA, and it's a look at all the early paperback publishers in the States and their influences. And this is one he did just on the Dell Mapbacks, but it's really, I've got this really for the illustrations that are throughout, plus his essay on the Dell Mapbacks here, which is at the start. It's the full history, a bit about the designers of them and that. So it's not massively long, as you can see, but it is really nice. I said this was dirt cheap. Like, you know, I think it was like a £5 including the postage. And then each page has got illustrations on. 1998 this was published, and you see the fronts and backs of all the map backs, so it's really cool. Really, and he's chosen some fantastic ones here, as you can see. So highly recommend you track down a copy of this if you're at all interested in the map backs. I love them. I absolutely love them, and as I said, it was dirt cheap, so I think you might want to track down the Dell map backs. Okay, right, and then one last book before we get cleaning, which hopefully won't take too long, is this, which is the Visual Encyclopedia of Science Fiction, published by Pan, and what a beast it is. Let me change the camera angle. Right, we've gone up high for this one because it is a bit of a tome. This one is published by Pan, and it was published during their great period, towards the tail end of the 1970s, edited by Brian Ash, and it's a bit of a chronological history of science fiction, basically, but it says Visual Encyclopedia, so I thought, well, how visual is it? So loads of great contributors, really, really good. Look on the list there, fantastic. And this is about 1977, so it gives you an idea when this one came out, and it looks at the history of science fiction right back to the start. Now, I'm going to flick through, but I'm tempted. This book is so good, and I'm not joking, it would warrant a video in itself, because it is packed, as you can see. It's, for me, it's just the right level of text and illustration. I've got those as well. So all these great book covers. I mean, this is just essential reading for the history of science fiction at that time. So as you can see, it's great, absolutely superb. So I think you're going to like this one in quite a big way. So this one cost me, if you can believe it, the princely sum of 99p, but I paid, I think it was £4.50 postage, because it's a huge and heavy book. So, you know, expect to pay about £5 or £6. The only thing I would say, this is the paperback edition. I think there is a hardback, which may have been published as a book club. So you may want to track down the hardback. I'm certainly going to keep my eyes peeled for the hardback, because this is the sort of book you're going to want to go back to again and again. So as you can see, it's just great, and if you want, I might even do a dedicated video on this, but you may just want to go out and get one. But I'm going to give it a good read first of all over the Christmas sort of period. I've got a bit of downtime, and we'll have a look at this. Especially, it's really well illustrated. It's right up my alley here, so I think you're going to really enjoy that one. So one you may want to keep a bit of an eye out for. Yeah, the Visual Encyclopedia of Science Fiction by Pan. Absolutely superb, that one. Yeah. Right, so that is in fact all the books that are new since the last haul, really, which, let's be honest, that wasn't that long ago. But as I said, predominantly it was that big shipment from the States which has come in, which has just been, wow, how fantastic is that? I'm really, really pleased. So without further ado, let's get on and just get the big bits done first of all. So I'm going to give this got my trusty brush here, and we'll do the sort of the stuff which isn't paperback first of all, and we'll just go along and do these on the fly, as it were, on the hoof. But I tell you what, stuff like this, if you do a bit of digging, there's some great stuff on there, and there's loads of copies of this. Let's do that, 15-20 copies, so I reckon it must have done all right at the time. But I would like to get it in hardback, just because it's going to be a bit more of a permanent form. It's such a big thick book, the paperback, you know, it's not the easiest thing to read. and I can't help feeling that by the time I finish with it, even if I'm careful, it might have just split. So we don't want that, do we? And yeah, this was a revelation. I took a bit of a punt because I've never even seen it before, but I know the name P.H. Schroeder is, and his book, A Paperbacks book, is fantastic. It was one of the first books I ever read on vintage paperbacks, and I think he's from the Netherlands, I think, and a very, very knowledgeable chap. I think he's still around. But yeah, if you like Del Matte backs, and I absolutely love them, you'll appreciate that picture more than words can say. And there's a few juicy ones there. I've got a few Del Matte backs, but nothing rare at all, really. Yeah, I'd like to get more, but they're not. The only thing that's bad about the Del Matte backs is that quite a few of them are abridged, so they're not actually the full book, and I can't stick that. I really don't like abridgments at all, even if the book's really long. Like I read Moby Dick last year, and that is a long book. I mean, there's guides online about how to even read Moby Dick, to sort of approach it. I mean, it's a big book, but I've read bigger, but I didn't, because I knew it was a long book, it didn't put me off at all, and I just revelled in it in the end. And if you've never read Moby Dick, boy, that is a great book, that. It really is. By the end of it, you know almost everything about whaling of the period, which is a bit distasteful, as you would imagine. But the book is so good. Anyway, right, that's that one. That's all right. Now, the Snoopy book, interestingly, didn't have, unlike the other ones that I've got in this series, it hasn't got a laminated cover, like a British annual, if you know what I mean. So, and it doesn't exactly look dirty, so I'm not even going to rub that at all. All I am going to do is put the brush against the edges, which I should have done on the other two, actually, which I forgot to do. So that will be absolutely fine. Yeah, I should have given this a dust off as well. As I said, I bought it for the bibliographies in effect, because it's, from that point of view, it's great. There we are. I didn't actually do the Del Matte backs as well, so we'll do that one right now. There we are. Okay, right, time to start on the paperbacks, I do believe. Cool. Right then, so let's get into these paperbacks. So we'll give them all the flick through. Check there's no price marks inside. And we'll give them a brush off and a dust. So I've split them into 4 piles. This one's pretty rough. So I do these monthly pickup videos, and it usually is about one a month, in all honesty. And they are also like little blogs or vlogs, you could say. And I fill viewers in with news about the channel whilst I'm doing my cleaning. And I suppose the biggest news that I can reveal right now is that I'm going to be moving to 2 videos a week, with a third one as an option, really, rather than doing 3 every single week without fail. I'm going to do 2 a week, and I'll leave the 3rd slot open if something comes through which warrants like a review, a timely review, as it were. But I'm hoping that the quality of the videos will get a bit better. I'll be giving viewers what they actually want. But also it's going to take a little bit of pressure off myself, so trying to do 3 videos a week on this channel and 1 on my dedicated cleaning channel is quite a bit, and I have quite a bit going on outside of work and YouTube at the moment, so it's all good though. It's nothing to worry about, but it's just, I think 2 videos a week, which is how I started, is going to be absolutely fine. I'm not looking to massively grow my audience or anything like that, because I'm not. As long as it ticks along okay, that's absolutely fine with me. But the main thing is I do want to be making good videos, so I want the quality to just sort of remain or get better even, you know, if possible. So that's really my goal. So because of that, just reducing to 2 a week is going to be, well, still 3 because of the one on my other channel. It's still more than enough to be getting on with, I do believe. So I hope you don't mind too much, but it's for my own sanity. Recently had the sponsorship by Whatnot. That was fantastic. They were really great to work with. Although I don't do masses of comic content on here. Well, we had a couple today, didn't we? I do some, and actually selling comics on the platform was a great experience. It was really, really good. There's definitely some bargains to be had because it's a new platform. Certainly like when eBay first started, there was lots of bargains, and Whatnot is, I guess it's buying and selling books for a modern generation. That's perhaps the only way I can really describe it, you know. So yeah, if you've never tried it, I definitely would recommend it. And I am very, very tempted to do some book sales on it. But I sort of like the way I do it at the moment, where I do a video and it's like first come first serve, I suppose, you know, rather than a live auction environment. Yeah, look, no dust coming off these. These are not like your traditional British, are they, you know? Those are smaller size, so I'll do them in a minute. In fact, so is that one. Do the small ones together. Couple more. But yeah, I think if you're not careful with YouTube, you can reach a bit of a burnout. And I have not been holding back. I've been doing YouTube 2019, March 2019 I started. So, 4.5 years now. So it's not like I've been doing it, 5 minutes. And it can take its toll. And, there are, as I said, I've got lots of other things that I'm working on. With looking to move house. I'm trying to thin down the Star Wars collection as well, which is, quite a big deal at the moment. So that's also going through, and may have an update about that next week. But just watch the channel and you'll see what's happening in the old world of vintage toys. I've got some toy fairs coming up. In fact, I'm filming this one on a Thursday. I'm off to Mapford Toy Fair on a Saturday. And I might go to Shepton Mallet, which is the week after that. And potentially I've got a visit to Dorset Bob with Steve coming up, the Outlaw Books there. So we have quite a bit on the old agenda. Lovely. Right, that is stack number 1. Right, pile number 2 here. So we got that lovely Michael Moore. As I said, I didn't get them all from the States. This is one that I found in the UK, obviously distributed over here. And I've noticed a lot of these Ace books have got this little rivet hole punch in because they were remaindered. At least I think they were remaindered. So interesting. This is that British one there, 39 steps reprint. It's quite scarce, this one, so pleased to get this actually. As I said, because I've got all the numbered pans now, all I'm left to do is do upgrades and also alternative covers on them. And this is an alternative cover because I've never ever owned this particular edition. I think it is really tough to find. Oh, I forgot to show that actually. I got that recently, so I'll do that right now. Yeah, so this, believe it or not, I picked up just last weekend, and I've never ever seen it before. So it's a penguin catalogue. Penguins ready for 23rd of June 1960, and it's a little concertina fold out. Really nice. I love this stuff, and I've never seen this. I don't think I've even seen it ever on a specialist dealer's catalogue. So I suspect it's super scarce. This cost me £2.80, so I didn't mind paying that. And I got it in a little bookshop in Tavistock, which I am going to do a little book, like a buying trip to Tavistock, because it was enough there, I think, to warrant quite an interesting video, in actual fact. So there we are. Quite nice, that, isn't it? I think. Quite nice. I was really pleased with that one. As I said, never seen it before. So it just needs a little bit of flattening out, because the chap had it inside, like curled up, inside a penguin mug, you see. So it's got a bit of a bend on it. So it just needs to be like laid flat, basically, under a nice stack, which I shall do at some point. Right. Just giving these the final look through now, and then we'll brush them, and then I'll go back and I'm going to do some polishing, get them all looking nice and polished. Yeah, these are really nice. This is the one I was most pleased to get out, and it's by far this one is the most expensive book out of all the books that you'll see here today. I would say perhaps From Russia with Love, the American first paperback, you would see for quite a few pounds over here. It cost me $15. You'd see it for 30 quid over here, if you could find one. It's just they're not really around. So yeah, that's really good to get that. It's by far the best copy I'm going to get. They did reprint it as an Ace science fiction special, but it's got a flash on, because I think it won the Hugo or Nebula Awards, one or the other, and they sort of have that printed on the front cover as a selling point. And why not? And that one's slightly cheaper to get, the reprint of it. Yeah, pleased to get that. What a great series Danger Man is. Still got a few I've never ever seen, so, but I don't want to ruin it, so I don't binge it too much, you know. And this one, another great book. Really nice jacket on this one, and this one is also, it's seemingly quite tough to find in nice condition as an Ace science fiction special. Although even the British one from Panther I don't think is easy to find these days, not in nice condition anyway. Most of the farmers are out there, though, in some form or another, but I am, as I said, trying to be quite picky condition-wise with them. Same with my Harry Harrisons, so if they're not up to scratch, I'm not going to keep them. They'll just be sort of in the reading pile, of which I've got a pile for both authors in that department. This one's fine there. This is 1982, so yeah, quite a later one. Perhaps the most recent book we actually seen here today, possibly. Yeah, this was just in that job lot, and it's a bit of it. Look, it's had it. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep it at all, even though it's a nice Ace one. It's quite cheap to find, so I'm not even going to keep that even as a filler. That one is going to go in the bin, I'm afraid. It is literally falling to bits, so it's no good, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Now, this one's got a bit of tanning on. In fact, it's got some silverfish damage, which is a shame. Yeah, it's got quite, on the face of it, that doesn't look too bad, but in actual fact, when I catalogue these, I am going to put put this one on the upgrade list. I'm going to try and find a better one of that. It'll be absolutely fine to read those. So and it's one that is on my list of titles I'd like to read. So, but I'm not overly happy with that. Second Avon Fantasy Reader. This is quite cool, isn't it? This was almost like a bonus. So yeah, that's all right. So let's give these a brush down. Where's my brush gone? Here we are. One less book. There we are. Got to be able to pinch them. Lovely. Okay, that pan one. Actually got a tiny bit of the cover coming away, which I did not spot. So I'm going to get a bit of emergency glue in there. So it's quite a scarce one, but easily sorted. Just slide that in there where it's coming away. Didn't even spot that flicking through it just now. You just find these with these old books. They are extremely brittle. What was this from 1949, wasn't it? So yeah, 74 years old. We'll forgive it a little bit of brittleness, won't we? But that's a really simple fix, almost invisible. And that is the good thing about Pritt Stick, isn't it? There we are. We had the technology, as they say. Okay, that's the second pile done. Number 3. Yeah, lovely. These I Spy books are just minters, aren't they? They are terrific quality. These date from 1967. I mean, they must be unread, you know? I mean, wow. Almost like file copies. The Damned. I think I have got that one, but not in such nice condition. Yeah, a bit of a beaten up book of Philip K. Dick, but I don't mind because, you know, he's so collectible these days. It doesn't matter what edition they are, they're just really sought after. Yeah, True Cigarettes. You can't believe it, can you? Look at that. You just wouldn't see vintage cigarette advertising in the middle of a paperback these days, would you? How times have changed, eh? What date is this? Early 70s, I think. Yeah, 1972. The thing that I find about these Ace books is they're so similar to what the early dolls are, because it's almost like they transition. You know, Donald Wilhelm leaves Ace Books, and the look and feel of the early dolls is like the look and feel of the Ace Books of the period, and they sort of transition from one into another. Just it's really noticeable if you've got both sort of series, if you've handled them, I think, anyway. Yeah, these are just magic, those ones. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, just the one Avengers this time. I got that nice lot last time, didn't I? Which was cool. It's funny, they are listed individually on eBay USA, but they're like, you know, $10 to $15, and they are around. They definitely sold quite a few copies, so I don't want to go over the top and spend too much on them, you know. Yeah, and this one I've already got, but it's it came in a job lot, so I'm going to keep it because it'll be my next reader. Because I did Death World 1 on holiday, so I do 2. I shall read that exact one. And yeah, this is probably the second most valuable book. This is the Signet from Russia with Love. Very, very nice indeed. Very pleased with that one. Super cool. I'm quite close to getting an American set now, which should be really, really something. Look at this, it's got $1.75 in. And it might actually, is it in pen? No, it's in pencil. Phew. Okay. There we are. A delicate little job, a delicate little book. I don't believe we looked at the date on that. September 58. Yeah, that is really nice. That's a real gem, that one. I got lucky on that. Yeah, that's cool. This one's a beauty as well. Yeah, lovely. Right, let's give these the brush down now. Lovely. Right, last stack. Okay, The Wanderer. Yeah, so these just came as part of a job lot. They weren't necessarily ones I was even looking for, but I take them since they're not too bad, and they are, I suppose, Ballantines, so they are a publisher I like. Yeah, the June one, that's going to be a bit of a mini project, that one. I think I can get it looking real good. It's just the spines there. I think I'm going to need to untack that there. You can see, get the old razor in there, and then I think he's going to be all right. I'll be able to like Reese pull that out because it's all there, and the text block's good. It's a tough book to find that. There we are. Careful rubbing there with the rubber did the trick. A really funky cover, that one, isn't it? I said it was just part of a little job lot, but I thought I'm not going to turn it down. There's like maybe 1 or 2 books in the lot that I actually wanted. The first one here, 1965. Dirty, that one. A little bit borderline this, sadly, this 1 million tomorrows, but you know, it'll do. I might put it as an upgrade because I would like to get these in tip-top shape if possible, but there is a limit, isn't there? Right. Don't know how I missed that. Bookmark of some sort in there. There we are, and I'm giving June its own rub down. Lovely. Right, on to the polishing. So I did, so in between filming, I have taken that spine off just up to about there and re-glued it with some Pritt stick. So it's looking a bit better now. So yeah, not bad. That didn't do too badly on that. I'm now going to go through and give everything a polish and find a clean bit of cloth here. Get that nicely impregnated. Now that the books have all been polished and cleaned inside as good as possible, the last stage is just to give them that little bit of shine, take off fingerprints and what have you that have amassed over the decades, and they're as good as I can possibly get them looking, you know. Some will need it more than others, that's for certain, but I don't think anything here is too bad really, you know. It just depends how fussy you want to be. This is one from that job lot which has got something on the cover. I'm not 100% sure, but it was almost like the remnants of, say, a bit of Coke or something like that, kind of Coke that had spilt possibly on the cover. But I think I've just about, Mr. Sheen has got it. Yeah, it's pulled it all up. Whatever that was, Mr. Sheen has pulled it up, but it's made a right mess. Look at that. So there we are. So I'll put a bit on there, and we're just going to go straight in raw on this one because it's worth saving. Not sure what it was that caused him. There we are. We got it all, huh? The Age of Pussyfoot. Wow. If you say so. Yeah, it's come out of that all right, actually. Got a brand new clean duster, especially for today. So after, the process I go through once I've cleaned all these books, his next step is sit down with them beside me by the computer and I sort them out into publisher and author and what have you, and I make sure I've got everything fully catalogued before it then joins like my main collection. That's basically how I do it. And it tends to work okay for me. And I put them into a Google Drive so I can then access them on my phone. These I Spy books aren't going to need much. I'm just going to give them a cursory wipe over when we come across them. But they look absolutely beautiful. Very, very well cared for. Lovely, come along quite nicely. I've actually got, there's 3 books advertised on the back, and I've actually got 2 of them, which is Chalky by John Wyndham in the US edition and Outlaw Gore in these Ballantine editions. This one's obviously been read a couple of times, which is okay, but yeah, sometimes it is difficult to tell, isn't it? Just from an eBay auction. But ultimately it wasn't a lot of money, so I can't really complain. So let's get that first pile squared up, which is now done. Head straight into pile number 2, which have got these, a couple more I Spy books, which I said they're just going to have a very cursory once over because they're so nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the Matford Toy Fair on Saturday. It's been ages. The show is a sellout, this one. It's completely sold out, which is good to hear. So there should be a fair bit on offer with a bit of luck. I'm still actively collecting my Matchbox toys, and I haven't bought any for a while. The last few that I've bought have been from shows, and I haven't bought any from any dealers online or anything. So that'll be good. Hopefully get a few more off my list, but my cabinet is pretty much full, and one of the things I'm waiting on, really, one of the reasons I haven't bought any online is because I don't have anywhere for them, but I might have. So the cabinet with my loose Star Wars figures in, well, potentially if I sell my Star Wars collection, that cabinet will be free and I'll then be able to put some up there. So that's definitely a possibility, should we say, you know. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, nice to get a couple more duels. I must check my duel list a bit more regularly when I visit Zardos and Dorset Bob, because I've got so many, but it'd be nice to zero in and fill in a lot of the gaps. But although I've got a lot of the best of the science fiction, I haven't got, there's loads of the horror ones I haven't got, sadly, so they would be nice to get. A little bit flaky, that Ballantine one there. That's okay. Let's get a clean bit of cloth here. Yeah, I love these American Avengers books. They're great. Really, really great. So I've been chatting to the wife, because we're, as I said, thinking now about moving house next year, and it'll be nice to get my book collection all in one place in a dedicated library. That's certainly the idea. And also on a downstairs floor, because of the weight of it, really, so that's the plan. So we're in the process of, like, we're not quite ready to move yet, but we're close to it, should we say, so that's going to mean I'm going to need to put quite a bit of my collection into storage, which isn't a bad thing, but it does mean it'll affect the sorts of videos that I end up filming on the channel. Might even have to have a little bit of a holiday for a while, but I will still have access to the collection, so it may be the book content drops off for a little bit. I'll have new acquisitions, of course, but looking at the old collections and that, but the whole process of doing out the library from start to finish, I'm going to film it all, and I think it's going to make a really good thing, a really good series of videos. I've got very distinct ideas how I'd like to do it. So ideally, the biggest room is that I can have spare in the new house for the library, and then I'd like to get all four walls pretty much floor to ceiling done out with bookcases. Now I don't want anything silly like light damaging my books, so that the windows, in effect, I'd rather use the space, not have curtains up, but use the space and have bookcases in front of it. So literally floor to ceiling, four walls. Now there is quite a distinction between building a library and building an archive, and I think I'm going to have a bit of a cross between the two, because some stuff is in my collection, like the Pelican books, for example, They're in my collection, not because I read them. There's a few that I really like, but they're there because they were part of Penguin's history. And I sort of collect pretty much anything Penguin published pre-1970. That's sort of my Penguin collecting field, really, you know. So consequently, that's a lot of Pelicans. That's 600 Pelican books, which I've got. About 600 Pelican books. So because of that, there's always going to be some stuff that is more archival in nature. So with the library, I am thinking of making the paperback shelves double-sized, and by that what I mean is that if I wanted to, I could have a row of paperbacks on their spines, you know, and another row in front, so they would be sort of like that if necessary. So the shelves are going to come out a certain length so that I can potentially have 2 rows of books. So when I do get to put the Pelicans out, for example, I think I'll probably double up on them, probably, unless I'm really got acres of space. I'll probably double up with a view that I know that I can shrink them down in the future should I need to. So that's sort of what I'm thinking, and that really is more along the lines of creating an archive rather than a library. But my best stuff, I just want, you know, a single face, a single spine out rather. That's sort of what I'll be looking for. So I've been planning that at the moment, in my head, what I'd like to get done, and of course it's going to have to be purpose built, and you know, I need to find a good chippy. There's a chance my brother-in-law might do it if he's got the time. He likes a good project, and he built years ago when I had a Penguin bookcase. He built it for me, and it was really, really fantastic. And when we got a dog, I had to get them out of downstairs, so I sold the bookcase on something like Gumtree or something like that, and still got very good money back for it. So because they were purpose-built paperback bookcases, as simple as that. The cheapest way would obviously be just to buy IKEA bookcases, but they're just not the right size. You know, they're easy to put together. I could do it all myself. That would be the cheaper option, but I'd much rather get custom-made bookcases. In all honesty, I think they just look so much better. Well, they just look amazing. I think they would. So that's my aim, is if I can afford it at the time, that's the way I'm going to go, I think, you know. I won't have much left in the way of toys, because by then I would have moved on a lot of it, and what I haven't moved will be just boxed up, and it'll be in storage to get rid of bit by bit. And you'll see this coming up on the channel. So for an example, with the Star Wars stuff, and you know, it very much looks like the toys are going to be on their way quite soon. The action figures, that's like the carded and the loose action figures and stuff. So if that sale goes through as planned, I'm going to be left with a lot of other stuff. So stuff like, for example, Star Wars bubble baths. Now I've got quite a collection of those from like 1978, 79 up to about 83, 84. I've probably got 15 to 20 bubble baths. Now, I've never shown them on the channel really before. I've never done a video on them or anything like that. But I've got a few things like that, which it's like you would almost call oddball stuff. And it is of interest, particularly to fans of people who collect the original trilogy. So although it's not action figure related, it is Star Wars related. And I'm going to pull that sort of stuff together, the oddball stuff. And I am going to video it, so for posterity. And then I'm going to flog it. Simple as that. So that is the plan. But it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take time to do that. It's not something that I can just do overnight. But I'm going to enjoy doing it. And I think the videos will be quite a bit of fun. So don't think for 1 minute that you've seen the end of Star Wars on the channel, because you haven't. There's an awful lot more that has never ever been filmed. Whereas action figure related and carded figure related and all the ships, I've pretty much filmed it all now. So there's not a lot that went unfilmed, as it were. And I am on the day of the sale are gonna film it going out the door. It does feel a little bit weird though. It'd be a bit like almost like losing a limb in a funny sort of way, but not in too bad a way. I don't feel too bad about it because the time feels right to get rid of some of this action figure stuff and move on to other things really. And you gotta think about the practicality of some of this stuff going into the future, you know. And something like books are very easy to sell and ship, unlike toys and action figures. So there's my reasoning. Okay, so book of the haul. Definitely the most valuable book here today, but you wouldn't know it unless you'd like researched it really, I suppose. And it certainly wasn't too bad at all, so yeah, I'm very pleased with that. One from series 2 this time round. Not that there's many to get, thankfully. Slightly faded spine on that one, not too serious, but it has got a little bit of fading. Lovely, so on to the last pile now. It's that nice copy of Second Foundation. Yeah, so quite an amazing haul this time, and once again thanks to Chris and his daughter Juliet, who looks out for the parcels for me. There won't be any more now until next year, sadly, but there's always stuff to get, particularly from the States, you know what I mean? Because so much of it you just don't see over here. You do see some stuff does get imported, or was imported back in the day, shall I say. So some of it is around, but it's usually much more expensive than you'd like to pay, you know. Now these Doctor Who books were really nice as well, so they won't need much of a clean. Just a cursory wipe over again, really. Ironically, I'm actually filming this on Doctor Who's 60th birthday. If I hadn't been so busy recently, I would have tried to come up with a 60th anniversary video, but sadly, I've not had time or chance to. You know how it is. Yes, there's quite a few in the year's best horror series. This one is, I got to admit, a little bit poorer than I would have liked, but I'm not going to be too fussy because I know they're expensive, and it does fill a little gap in the old door collection. But yeah, as we head towards the last few, I do hope you've enjoyed going through these books as much as I have. It really was one of the best hauls I've had this year, and so much science fiction, so much stuff I've been, carefully trying to find, book by book, basically, like some of these Philip Jose Farmers that are not particularly common, particularly in the UK, and some of these are gorgeous quality. Other books, well, sometimes you take a bit of a chance, don't you? Some are evidently going to be better than others. I think I've done very well with the James Bond book. I did very well with the June book, which is now repaired and looking very nice indeed. I just keep an eye on it because those spines have a habit of warping, so I'm going to keep a little eye on that one, but I think it'll be alright. But yeah, it's been an absolutely epic find. So once again, thanks to my friend Chris. I promise I won't bother you again until next year, Chris, if that's alright. But until then, I'll keep a few books bookmarked. Hope you've enjoyed it at home. Hope you don't mind the reduction in output. I think some people might be relieved. Some people have said, I put too many videos out, they just can't keep up with it, particularly when I do some of my long ones. This is not going to be short. This is probably going to be the best part of an hour and a half, I would estimate, but I got no real idea. I think it's going to be about that. Hopefully not too much longer than that, but yeah, we've had a lot of books to clean, haven't we? But as long as you've enjoyed it, even if you end up watching it in parts, that's absolutely fine with me. Do give the video a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not already, as I film this super close to 25,000. May already be up, beating that by the time this video goes out. Not sure, but that's a great milestone, and yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.